So again, everyone, welcome to this webinar hosted by UReason. Um, in this short webinar, I will talk with you about our experiences in digitization. We believe that digitization only works if we do it together, and we expect that many of the businesses that we know today will not exist in 10 years if you do not figure out how technology can change your business. Um, I'm Jules Utmans, presenting to you today. And I have a background in AI starting in the 90s and have been involved many times in the past 25 years in prognostic and predictive programs that ensure asset integrity for critical assets and critical processes. I have a mixed background in physics, mechanical engineering, and computer science, and my motto is like the famous coffee one, digital, what else? I work at a company, UReason, a software company that provides solutions for real-time condition-based and predictive maintenance. And I help our customers daily to use our software, from data analysis to the setup of applications and solutions that monitor important assets and processes. At UReason, we combine our domain expertise and software knowledge with our customers, and I help them from data to solutions. We have offices in Rotterdam, which we see here in the pictures, and in Reading in the UK. And our customers are predominantly in the manufacturing and process industry, and the majority of them are located in Western Europe and the North Americas. Our software, APM Studio, is used at different levels in the automation pyramid. It can run embedded with OEMs monitoring faults and risks in isolation to the asset, where an asset can be instrumentation, actuator, a pump, a compressor, filter, etc. At the edge, we process asset data of one or more multiple assets to run condition monitoring and predictive applications near to where the data is generated. And we also work at level 2 and 3 in the automation pyramid, where APM is used to monitor faults in relationship to the process, which is then running it deployed on on-premise compute, typically. When we deploy at level 4 and level 5 in the automation pyramid, APM Studio is used for optimizing the maintenance cost and planning typically associated with a large asset base that supports a process. So UReason is active in this field of condition monitoring, predictive and prescriptive maintenance, and our field of operation is from helping customers to insights in data to helping asset owners, OEMs, and maintenance service organizations with data-driven maintenance solutions. Often we start with our customers to define the business cases and use cases to focus on, followed by data collection, model development, model training, model development, and model validation, and deploying the solutions in the existing OT and IT landscapes of our customers. Um, we work and deploy our software, APM Studio, for manufacturing companies, and this is and in intra-logistics as well. And this is about 40% of our business. And we work a lot with OEMs and skid builders. For OEMs, their focus is to maintain margin, provide data integration, provide new services and business models, and staying relevant for the customer. And the typical focus on the typical focus of an OEM is on the value of the asset. For asset owners, their focus is to, for example, lower energy costs, reduce plant maintenance, reduce reactive maintenance, stretch asset life, balance risks, and optimize the planning for their asset base. And for asset owners, it is all about the value of the asset supporting that process. In both cases, we support asset owners and OEMs with our solutions, where the focus with OEMs is very often on vertical integration, i.e. vertically integrating their solution, their servitization offering to cloud or common cloud services. And in the case, of course, of asset owners, it's a combination of vertical and horizontal integration. So today's topic is all about digitization. And Digitization, if we look at it, is a conversion of different types of data or information into the binary world. Um, and with the need for automation, intervention, and support from machines increasing day by day, digitization is a means to achieve more streamlined operations that allow human-machine cooperations. One of the early adopters of digitization was Rolls-Royce. Uh, we also worked in the past with Rolls-Royce. They produce aircrafts, they manufacture aircrafts, and up to the 1990s, the late 1990s, Rolls-Royce traditionally generated revenues from the aftermarket, the aftermarket sales. After an engine was sold to a customer, they would sell spare parts and they would deal with distress repairs. So a lot of the support and maintenance for the aircraft was licensed out to third parties. And this very traditional model generated a very unpredictable revenue stream, and it did not align incentives towards the desired customer outcome, keeping engines on wing for as long as possible, performing as well as possible, avoiding unplanned events, and providing predictable total lifetime costs. For these reasons, Rolls-Royce created a new model, the total care model. A key innovation underlying this total care model, digitization model, was addressing the unpredictable timing and cost of engine overhauls and maintenance that airlines were faced with by integrating these into a service package that was charged at an agreed cost per engine flight hour. So you could say power or flights time by the hour. The program, the Total Care program, was a success. Um, it meant for Rolls-Royce that it could retain responsibility for ensuring the product to perform according to customer requirements. And the power by the hour charging mechanism, revenues generated per engine flight hour, kept incentives aligned by rewarding Rolls-Royce when the product was or is working as needed and penalizing them when it's not. So the Total Care provided opportunities for constant insights and learning around customer requirements. And this insight was enabled by the collection of engine data over satellite links, as well as through deep customer relationships, i.e., doing it together with your customers and suppliers is a key to success, a key to success in digitization. So people ask me, what is a working model for digitization? A working model is an ecosystem. We have to do it together. A servitization model for an end customer of UReason, which I put here in the picture, provides insights that can be channeled back to services and product development. Um, provides knowledge retention and allows the customers and its customers, so the customers of the customers, to improve efficiency, reduce energy costs, etc. To our partners, also part of the value chain, the second block here in the overview, if you can see my mouse pointer, okay. Um, to our partners, it also allows them to create new digital services, channels to support customers, and for UReason it provides software subscription services, analytics as a service models to the customer or the customer of the customer and its partners. But there's also third parties in this ecosystem that can also benefit altogether from providing, for example, analytic services to horizontally integrate or vertically integrate their offering with the total. So a customer, let's take as a customer here, a company that runs petrochemical facilities across different parts in the world. The partner could be one of their MRO partners that is targeted or has to deal with target-based pricing contracts to maintain the assets and have the uptime of the assets available as and when needed for supporting the process. UReason is one of the software partners in this ecosystem, providing its software, its capabilities on subscription basis to either the end customer or to the partner or to a combination of both. And then, for example, another third party in this ecosystem could be a company that provides weather humidity data at very specific locations for doing further optimizations, or a company that provides microservices in the area of condition monitoring sensors that they provide. So working together is very important in digitization, allowing you to provide servitization and customer-centric models. However, digitization means disruption. Um, it's different ways of working, and often this leads to resistance. There's no talking around this, and our belief, my belief, is that the change needs to be introduced in very small steps, where at each step the new ways of working gained insights, even if they're very small, are recognized and celebrated. Sometimes companies fear to make the next step as they cannot quantify the value of the digitization program. Here we always stress that you should not start a program without business cases, i.e. you should not start because you just want to test out or try out new technology. You also need to recognize, like Rolls-Royce did, that it is that central to the digitization program is a change, a different way of working, and um, a change again from the other fear. Another blocker we often see is that companies have tried it before and failed. This is, in my experience, the hardest one, but not one we walk away from. Darwin had it quite right more than a century ago. Um, it's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is most adaptable to change that will survive. And this applies, this quote from Darwin also applies to digitization programs and projects that you would like to run. Now, um, can digitization be successful? Of course it can. Yes, I mean a loud yes even. And you need um, certain elements in your organization available. Of course, you need to have an opportunity. So you need to have an opportunity which could be the customer wanting to change the way in which they do their work instead of doing inspection rounds, change from inspection rounds to data-driven inspection rounds, where data from field instrumentation is used to determine which instrumentation actors, actuators, etc., require additional attention. It needs, of course, knowledge and skills. You need the right mindset. You want to change, but you also need to have the mindset to start changing. Resources, a logical one. Resources, of course, can be money, compute resources, people. You need to have skill as well. So doing digitization projects where the skill is only one and the opportunity is very low is not going to be very successful. And you need strong leadership because you're dealing with change. And as I indicated in the previous slide, there's typically resistance towards change. And yeah, one of the things that you should never forget is you need to do it customer centric. You're doing it for a customer. And in these areas, you already see that digitization needs to be done together. It's with your customer, it's with knowledge and skills that you may not currently have inside the company, which of course is an excellent idea to work with external companies that have specific skill sets, for example, in the area of data science or in the area of deploying models, machine learning models on chips, like UReason. And yeah, the opportunity is one of the most important areas. It can absolutely be successful, but you need to be sure that you align all of these individual elements in the right way for the digitization programs. Um, it works, and here we have an example that UReason worked on with KUKA and KUKA in Augsburg, where a digital twin for work cells was created, which provides the end customer, KUKA in this case, and the production facility with the remaining service life of the specific tools, quite a large number of tools in the Heller cells, in the Heller working cells, and it's providing a recommender model for what tool to change next and how long production can be run unmanned or in an unmanned fashion without taking any actions. This is a very nice example of digitization using data that is already available at the machine level, doing analysis at an edge level and providing advisories to the end customer, to the user of the systems with respect to the remaining useful lifetime of the tools. Um, On the 12th of May, there's a joint webinar. I invite you all, and I will send out invitations again, of course, to participate in this webinar. Another example, but that's more process-oriented, is the OA4 demonstrator, which is in Dordrecht. It's a city in the Netherlands, where a process facility, a calibration hydro loop, has been extended with additional hardware, hard modems, hard interpreters, edge hardware, all quite technical, but it's hardware to actually use the available data that is available at hard level, highway addressable remote protocol that is being used on analog signals, on 420 milliamp signals, and to also use that information for um, um, remote monitoring and predictive maintenance purposes. Hard information contains a lot of valuable information about the well-being, so to say, of assets, instrumentations, motors, pumps, you name it. And that information is often not used. And at this demonstrator in Dordrecht, we set up a system that utilizes edge computing, so edge computing to do processing of the data very close to where the data is generated, to allow operators to see what the added value, the added benefits is of unlocking this data um, in a parallel path next to the automation pyramid. I'm looking at the time, and this is for me the first time that I did one of these shorter webinars, so I still have a minute and a half left. And I would like to check with Carlos what questions already came in and what questions I can start answering. My contact details you see here on the screen. If you have any questions after the webinar or if you're watching the replay, don't hesitate to contact me. My email address is there, and the QR code, if you scan it, points you to my LinkedIn page. Don't hesitate to reach out and connect. And let me check with Carlos for the questions. Okay, so one of the questions is by Dries. How do you start with digitization? So the best start with digitization, there's the opportunity needs to exist. So let me just go back here to the success formula. You need to have an opportunity, and very often that opportunity is customer centric. Customer centric also means that it could be an internal customer. It could be someone within your company in a different division, different department, which is your customer. So the best start to start with the digitization process is to first align the business cases. Why are you doing things? For whom are you doing things? When you've aligned on those, is to work out the different use cases for the digitization project. In our opinion, this is the best start. Sometimes other companies, they suggest to start collecting data. They sometimes suggest to collect everything, and they start analyzing. They have a very technology-oriented approach. They start analyzing the data immediately without having a purpose, a goal, use cases, and a business case. So start with the business cases. From the business cases, derive the use cases. When you know the use cases, you can also do directed search in the data that you've collected for that specific um, area where you want to digitize. Um, it's the best approach. Um, in certain cases, if you've lined up the business cases and use cases, it happens, especially if there's a lot of changes needed to process and sometimes people. We sometimes do feasibility studies. So we do a quick study to determine if the use cases that have been defined, that have been prioritized, can also be executed upon. So business cases, use cases, and then go to the data. And in the cases when there's a large number of changes, we typically do a shortened feasibility study before entering into the digitization projects. And a question by Giuseppe. Level one is a gateway or an edge. Okay, let me just scroll to that picture. So I hope you can see my mouse. So in the bottom, I will try to explain this picture as much as possible as well. We have physical things, so we have hard devices. In this case, there's IO-Link devices, there's Philbus, Modbus, etc. There's different protocols that are available from different devices out there in the field, from Emerson, Honeywell devices, Kronen devices, Endless and Hauser, Samsung, Econosto, or Erics. So there's a wide variety of different devices out there in the field. Physical things. Level one open edge connectivity actually is a level where we have gateways, not edge computing. So PNF stands for Peppel and Fuchs. So in this specific example, we have Peppel and Fuchs hard gateways, but we also have Wago hard gateways in a different section. This is showing a picture of section 3A, 3B at the plant. And from the gateway does a translation from the analog signals, so 420 milliamp with hard to hard IP, which is then translated into OPC UA at the edge level. So level one is really gateway level, gateway converters, protocol converters. Level two is an edge level where you have edge compute embedded Ubuntu with embedded run on it Dockers. I hope that answers your question, Giuseppe. There's another question by Ahmad. Do you guys offer physical-based models? Yeah, so physical-based models or high fidelity and low fidelity simulation models, we typically integrate to. We have integrations to physics-based models, which are, for example, based on ASPEN-1, on HYSYS, somewhat of the same. But we also have physics-based models that are based on flow simulators and hydraulic flow simulators as well. We offer the integration to it as part of our software packages. So we sell the software package to do the reasoning, UReason, allowing you to reason with data coming from your plant, from your process, and create, for example, digital twins. We also provide very often soft sensor models, which are, for example, neural networks or LR logistic regression models that provide a soft sensor, a virtually measured value for a value that is out there in the field. And another question by Ahmad. There are many companies offering digital twin. What are the advantages that you have over your competitors? Digital twins is just one part of the offerings that we provide. I think so. We're not a digital twin only company. Let me put it this way. We provide digital twins to do look ahead, look forward simulations on the basis, for example, of control changes that you make in the process, such that you can evaluate what the possible outcomes could be of the actions that you take now and see what the outcomes of that will be in a few hours, a few days, or a few weeks. I think one of the biggest advantages over other companies that provide that type of capability, the one is that we can run on-premise, on edge compute. So the edge computer that we see here, still in the picture, runs APM Studio Edge Analytics, which means that different machine learning models, but also probabilistic risk models are run at an edge level on small compute, small compute and getting larger over time as well because of Moore's law. It's everly increasing. We can run on-premise, which is also a big advantage, and in cloud. And we can provide also a hybrid model for this. So doing running ML in real time on streaming data, on high frequency data, providing probabilistic risk models, and doing this at every level, chip level, edge level, on-prem, edge is on-prem, and cloud, and the hybrid version as well is one of our biggest advantages over competitors. I hope that answers the question, Zamat. And let me just see. Um, there's a question by Bruno. Is servitization a requirement for digitization? Let me just scroll back to that specific slide. Just give me a second. So that is servitization is mentioned here. Bruno, this was a model which I used, which is OEM centric. Hey, you saw in an earlier slide that a lot of the work we do is with OEMs, providing them white labeled or black labeled with our software to do embedded analytics or provide servitization models to their customers. So this is an OEM-oriented model where servitization, you could, oh, actually, sorry, there's my mouse. You could put a stripe through this, through servitization, in the case of an asset owner. So in the case of a petrochemical facility or a pharmaceutical company, etc. They want to provide things customer-centric, not necessarily also provide a services, a power by the hour type of model. Although that is also gaining interest also with the asset owners, as we see it in the market. I'm just checking with Carlos if there is more questions coming in. Carlos, I'm just checking here. I've got the presenter chat. I'm flipping between the different windows. Um, All good. I see from Carlos there's no more questions. I hope you enjoyed this short webinar. It was the first time we tried this. At the end of the webinar, there is an evaluation form popped up once I stop streaming. If you can let us know what you thought about the webinar, or Carlos, if you can also share the review link with the audience, that would be great. It's the first time we're doing these shorter webinars in English, and we really like to improve every time, every day, and also on our webinars, of course. So again, thank you for attending. And if you have 1 minute, fill in the review form, and I hope to see you soon again. I will stop the webinar and then the review form will pop up. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.